member from Thornhill.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Premier this morning. Premier, a few weeks ago, when you were pretending to get tough on one sector of the public service, you put the rest on notice, or so you claimed. We're coming, you warned, when speaking about an across-the-board public sector wage freeze. But despite your assurances, the only thing that's coming is an MPAC convention for its 1,500 or so government employees today in Toronto. You can't talk about fiscal responsibility out of one side of your mouth and at the same time allow your employees to organize a convention right smack in the middle of the Toronto International Film Festival when hotel and convention space are at a premium. Why, when faced with Ontario's debt and deficit, did you allow this extravagant convention to move forward? When are you finally going to put your money, so to speak, where your mouth is and actually take responsibility for the costs your government keeps incurring?
Premier.
Minister of Finance.
Minister of Finance.
Speaker, the decision of the MPAC, which is a municipally owned or operated, we have no authority over. And let me say to the member opposite, I concur. I thought it was kind of a boneheaded thing to do. I don't understand it. It's not a good use of money. I'm arranging to speak to the chair.
Members on all sides, let's bring the tone down, please. Minister of Finance.
I will be speaking to the chair. Unfortunately, we have no power of directive over them. They are controlled by the municipalities of Ontario in a structure that was set up by your government. But again, I concur with you. I thought it was inappropriate, terrible use of money, absolutely the wrong thing to do, and I'd ask them not to do it again. I don't know how we can retrieve that sort of thing, but Mr. Speaker, we find it as unacceptable as you do.
Supplementary.
Speaker, the MPAC convention is not just your average gathering of employees. I wish that it were so. This is a convention where government employees will be wined and dined, the event catered by a vendor who boasts that they've served the likes of Oprah, Elizabeth Taylor, and Karl Lagerfeld. How very TIFF of you, Premier. In addition to covering the costs of extravagant catering, taxpayers are on the hook for the better part of $1 million so that government employees can play team-building Lego games and perhaps do a little stargazing while they're at it. MPAC people, by the way, received an 8% pay hike in contract settlements early this year. Premier, this is not just wasteful spending. Frankly, it's offensive. You've been trying to convince us that you found religion when it comes to your reckless spending, but clearly that conversion has not yet taken place. What is the explanation for this latest Liberal spending scandal?
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I just remind the member opposite, MPAC is not a provincial agency, Mr. Speaker. It's a municipal agency. Just remind him, let me remind him, because I concur. I concur. I mean, it's an inappropriate use of municipal tax dollars. I completely concur with that. There are a 15-member board, of which there are 2 provincial representatives, Mr. Speaker. The chair is chosen by the municipal employees. But let me stress, I think it's an inappropriate use of money. I concur entirely with the official opposition. I was quite astounded when I heard about it. And I think it's an inappropriate use of municipal money. I concur, and glad we've had an opportunity to discuss this in the context of broader restraint that we are.
Final supplementary.
That the minister concurs. We have listened to your assurances, but the facts speak for themselves. The government is not scoring any points when it comes to oversight and management. This week's frivolous MPAC convention is not the first and not the only example of government mismanagement. E-Health, Windsor Energy Centre, more recently and much more disturbingly, Orange, are all scandals that Ontario couldn't and cannot afford. At best, these are examples of a shameful waste of taxpayer money, and worse, they endangered the health, indeed the lives of Ontario residents. Ontarians cannot afford any more scandals, any more frivolous government conventions, and any more platitudes. When will your government finally start doing your job and commit to protecting Ontario taxpayers rather than abusing their trust?
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Speaker, we have in fact laid out a plan. I'll be reporting public accounts tomorrow morning in terms of achievements to date. I concur with the opposition about this particular circumstance. I'd also remind the opposition that the PC party promised to put their expenses for meals, hospitality, and other things all online. That was 2010, Mr. Speaker. They never have. They have not put the expenses for their leader's office. So I concur on MPAC. I would simply ask you to quit hiding your meals, your hospitality, your leader's travels. I hope he's not expensing his fishing license anymore. But thank you for raising MPAC. I agree. Absolutely inappropriate use of municipal tax dollars.
Thank you. Questions?